in a matchup between the SEC and the Big 12. She is the first night starting pitcher on this field. We're set to go. The 32nd meeting all time, Gators and Knight. First pitch grounded to third, throw to first in time as Humphreys makes the play and Kendra Falby retired on one pitch for the first out of the ball game. And so just like that, we're underway. Let's look at the Knights defense here. As you see, Maddie Simon at center field with Samantha Ray at left, Izzy Mertez at right, Humphreys at third with Aubrey Evans at short, Coco Jaimes at second, Ashley Griffin at first, Beth Damon catching. First pitch there up and in to Colby Otis is a ball, 1-0 the count. One thing you'll notice in this first inning, it'll be very quiet in the stadium, no music we playing, due to, of course, as a part of the autism awareness. The 1-0 is in there for a strike, 1-1 the count to Otis.
And getting Falby on that first pitch, one-out combo was really good there for Vega, and just trying to be most efficient with her pitches tonight. Again, trying to set the tone here early in this game.
She pops it up. Damon is there to make the catch, and Otis is retired on the foul out. 2 up, 2 down here in the first.
Great job by Beth Damon, just immediately able to pick this ball up right off the bat of Otis, making the play again. Another big out here, the top part of this Florida lineup, who, Eric, we know the depth of this Florida program and how good they've been for how long they've been, but a couple of big outs here to start the game for UCF.
Taylor Shoemaker, the freshman, takes ball one. Comes into the game tonight, 1 RBI behind Texas's Katie Stewart for the nation's lead in RBIs with 52. She is also 6th in the country with 13 home runs. And is right now, I would say, leads the nation in runs scored with 45 and is probably the nation's leader right now for National Freshman of the Year. Set the tone from the opening weekend on. She is ahead of the count 2-0. There's a strike and the count is 2-1. Head coach Tim Walton told us as good of a hitter at the club level that he's ever seen, which is a high compliment. One of the best swings he's ever seen, Taylor Shoemaker. The 2-1 pitch. It's fouled off and it's 2-2.
When you're a coach and you look at a player like Shoemaker and what she's been able to do in just her freshman year has been so impressive, and then you're just so excited for the rest of her career and looking ahead at what she's going to be capable of, but just trying to keep it under control right now, because you got to ride the wave sometimes. It's a roller coaster. It's a long 60-plus game season, so trying to keep it in perspective. Coach was really humble about that.
Count is full, 3-2 to Shoemaker. Sold out crowd here at the complex for the annual Florida UCF game. Vega to the 8th, and Madison Simon hitting 9th for the Knights against Caitlin Oxley, who first freshman from Bartow, Florida, gets the start here for the Gators.
Another 3-pitch mix too from Oxley in the circle. Young freshman getting the start here. I like to see it, and just kind of giving her that good experience. And we hear it all the time, Eric, the experience is the most important teacher out there on the field. So just got to really test these young ones and see what they're capable of.
1-1 to count to Ray. Good strike. 1-2. Of course, the Knights scuffling offensively. Struggled in the weekend against Iowa State. Got a couple days there to get kind of clear their heads a little bit. As you see Coach Ball Malone. As the 1-2 to Ray is fouled off. And sometimes when you're struggling a little bit in a bit of a slump, getting away from the game for a day kind of can clear your head, can help.
Getting away, I think, is some of the best advice I was ever given as an athlete, as a hitter. You know, anytime I was struggling, coach wouldn't allow me in the cage. And at first I was like, don't I have to fix my swing? They're like, no, you need to just not touch a bat for a day, maybe 2.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Against Ray, against Oxley. Oxley got the save up in Gainesville in their first meeting as Ray grounds into second, fielded cleanly, throw to first in time, with Williams making the play at second base. There you see Mia Williams with Reagan Walsh at first base. Williams at second. Riley Horttorf at short with Halen at third, with Otis, Falby, and Shoemaker in the outfield, with Jocelyn Erickson catching for this Gators team. As Sierra Humphreys takes the strike, and it's 0-1 to count to Humphreys. This is the first time these two teams have played here in Orlando since 2022. That's missed high for a ball, 1-1 to count. Last couple of years they've played in Gainesville. Oxley, 1-1. Humphreys fouls it back. Count is 1-2 to Humphreys, hitting .385, 2 homers, 15 RBIs. Good look at how packed it is all here today and up in the outfield. Some getting away from the shade, the sun area. But look at that. A lot of stands, seats taken. Standing room. Sold out crowd on this beautiful Wednesday evening.
Everybody has to love the in-state matchup, and just, again, close quarters for some. Some people obviously rooting for the home team, UCF. Some people here from Florida Gators, so it's not too far.
That's down the line, and that is called a foul ball. Barely a foul ball. Humphreys' ball. Let's take a look.
Humphreys just going to hit this one right there down the line, but third baseman Cahalan does a good job not trying to force anything. Tries to grab it if she can, but I think that's where players sometimes get in that dangerous territory, is when they try too hard to go get the ball and then they kind of obstruct the view of the umpire.
1-2, low, ball 2, 2-2 to count. So Humphreys has even the count at 2-2. There's Tim Walt, 20th season as head coach for the Gators. All-time winningest coach in Florida Athletics, of course. Got inducted into the NFC Hall of Fame. There's a base hit into right field as Humphreys with the single extends her on-base streak to 23 games, gets on with 1 out.
Look at that pitch in the other batter's box, but Sierra Humphreys has such great plate coverage there, just lets it get deep in the zone, driving it to the opposite field. That's a really good piece of hitting, behind in the count too, working her way back even. That's good stuff. Sierra Humphreys is arguably the best hitter in this UCF lineup. So definitely probably going to see the rest of the night pitch selection be a little bit more careful, coming from Florida, that you've been wanting to see from your offense.
Beth Damon at the plate. She swings, hits a fly ball. This will stay in the park in left center as Falby comes over to make the catch. Damon flies out for the second out of the inning. Evans now with 4 homers, up to 15 RBIs, and for the first time in a while, Alex, we could say UCF has a lead. They did not lead in the Iowa State series. Mertez takes ball 1, 1-0 to count. There's Aubrey Evans, and a quick start for UCF. See if that gets their confidence going. Jumping out early on Oxley. 1-0 is missed. 2-0. 2-0 the count to the freshman Mertez. Comes into this ball game top 6 in the country in doubles with 12 this season. 6 away from the school record held by Aubrey Evans, who has 18 back in 2023. Mertez ahead of the count, 3-0. Takes ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to Mertez, and she gets on here with 2 outs.
Good patient at bat by Izzy Mertez, not trying to force anything, really challenging Oxley to have to come over the zone. It's a mature at bat.
Now Kotzelnick at the plate. Takes a strike, it's 0-1 to count to the senior Kotzelnick, hitting .290 with a homer and 12 RBIs. Hitting in the 6th spot. The 0-1 up high for a ball. One ball and 1 strike to count. And that is missed for a ball. 2-0. So Oxley has fallen behind here. First gave up the single to Humphreys and then the 2-run homer to Aubrey Evans to left. 2-1 pitch, swinging and a miss by Kotzelnick, and it's 2-2.
That's a big hack, too, from Kotzelnick, and that's the kind of confidence I like to see in the box. Big swings mean a lot of confidence, aggressive.
And Oxley gets the strikeout to retire this side. Jocelyn Erickson gets hit by the first pitch from Vega. And Erickson will get first base on the hit by pitches. This one gets past Vega. Got away from her there, trying to go inside on Erickson. That'll bring up Reagan Walsh to the plate. The senior, Walsh, who just drove in her 200th career RBI in the victory over Jacksonville last week. Becoming the 5th Gator ever to reach that milestone. As Walsh takes the ball, joining Lauren Hager, the all-time leader, 260 RBIs. Megan Bush, 217. Charlotte Eccles at 210. And, of course, Francesca Anea at 221, the assistant coach for Florida. Over at first base. There's a strike by Vega. There's Fran, of course, used to sit right next to me here in the broadcast booth from 2021 to 2023. Of course, did the Gator broadcast with Kyle Crooks, among many. P for the Knights.
Sierra Humphrey so good on the hot corner here. Look at this ball in the 5-6 hole. Gonna take her to her knees on the forehand side there, but just gets up on the knees, fires it over to second base. The bang bang play to Jaimes. Man, that's a great turn.
An incredible turn of events there. So 2 outs for Williams now at the plate. Swings in championship in 2006, 2006 when he played with Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal. Of course, was a great collegiate basketball player as well. Ties at Florida. Ball and a strike to count to Williams. Takes upstairs 2-1 the count. Of course, Williams' mom was a javelin thrower at Florida, one of the best ever. Good family traits there, athletic-wise.
Yeah, I was going to say, quite literally runs in her genes and her DNA.
2-1 from Vega. The strike, and it's 2-2 the count. So a hit by pitch to Erickson, and then the double play turn. And we mentioned in the open how great players got to make great plays in these matchups, and Humphreys did there defensively. 2-2. Got her. Vega strikes out Williams and ends the inning. With some help from her defense, the Knights up 2 as we head to the bottom. Alex, with Yoda, the pug.
We're off to a hot start here. Look at Yoda and the little blanket, maybe serving as a costume. Not so sure.
Coco Jaimes pops up on the first pitch as it's caught by Hottorf. Riley Hottorf, the transfer there from Washington, making the play for the first out. Send your pictures over to UCF production. Gonna bring up Ashley Griffin to the plate. And again, if you see the Knights helmets there, you got that, again, all autism awareness showing there in the helmets. It's 3rd annual this year. The UCF has hosted it. And that's why you see the coaching staffs wearing the gear that they're wearing. You see, look at this right there, the gear, Alex, with the shirts and the socks.
Going all out.
Griffin. There's see Coach Ball Malone. Pleased with her team getting a good start here. Griffin takes 3-1. Of course, Coach Ball Malone very familiar with Tim Walton. They go way back to the days when she was playing at Pacific as Griffin draws the 1-out walk to get on base. Tim Walton was an assistant at Oklahoma, and of course they would then see each other in the recruiting trails when Coach Ball Malone was on the staff of Brian Cozy at Pacific. And later on at Washington, they both seemed to always be recruiting similar players, and to the point where Coach Ball Malone went up to Coach Walton. It's like, I guess I need to follow you all over the place since we're looking for the same type of talent. The 0-1 pitch. Of course, they coached together recently on the U.S. national team. On the under-18 team winning the gold in 2019, as well as the 2022 up in Birmingham. The 0-1 is missed for a ball. 1-1 the count. Coach Walton says the thing that impresses him about Coach Ball Malone is how she could coach all aspects of the game. She could be obviously the pitching coach, could also coach the offense, could coach defense, could do it all. It's line to second, and the catch is made as Simon is retired on the line out. That's the out. 2 gone. Here's Williams making the play. We go back to the top of the order with Samantha Ray coming to the plate.
But I think that's, Eric, to your point, is one of the things that's most impressive about Coach Ball Malone is not only can she do it, but she also knows her strengths and tries to bring in assistants to help complement those.
The quick throw to first, and that is in time. And just like that, a quick inning. We head to the third. Knights up 2.
Amazing things like competitiveness, love, disappointment, bounce backs, and great comebacks.
Thank you very much, Berkeley. Kenley Cahalan, the junior, leading it off here for the Gators. Count is 1-1. Pretty cool. See that. Pre-game festivities. The 1-1. Of course, we had Georgie throwing out the first pitch. Today, had Kasem, the youngest of the 3 boys, for Coach Ball Malone throwing out the first pitch. 4 has thrown out before. I don't know if they're rotating or how they decide. You know, man, it's just like a pitching coach, right? Decide last minute. That's a pop-up to second. Jaimes is there as Cahalan is retired for the first out here in the third. Here's the ceremonial first pitch by George. Look at George.
Love it. And the hat, so festive. Love the shirt, too. The autism puzzle pieces, super special.
There he is right there. George always comes to a lot of games along with Mom. Mom right there to his left there on the screen. It's the 0-1 pitch. To Ava Brown getting the start here in the DP spot. The second team All-SEC player last year. Of course, two-way player, has great power, as well as, of course, good pitcher there. Won 16 games last year. And the sophomore, who's one of the top highly recruits, is ahead of the count 2-0. As Damon now got a word with Vega. What's it like to play a part of this type of game here? Big matchup, big state, big crowds. You've been a part of it on all levels, from the Florida State Florida games, the Florida State UCF games. What's it like?
Well, it's easy to get, amped up for games like this because it's obviously a great opponent that you're playing. The rivalry and the in-state matchup definitely helps complement that a little bit too. So you're really just trying to control the butterflies more than anything and figure out how to perform under these high-pressure moments. I mean, you've got people out there in the stands that sometimes spew hate at you just for no reason, just because of the colors that you're wearing. And so it's been a lot of fun. And again, as an athlete, just one of the reasons you come to programs like these is to get on these kind of stages.
The strike of the count is 2-2 to Brown, hitting .308 with 3 homers, 10 RBIs this season. The Gator offense, it's 3rd in the country in slugging percentage, 6th in on-base percentage. As Vega goes away, 3-2 the count. 3rd in the country in home runs with 62, and 5th in the country in base hits. Payoff pitch, line foul. And you know you have a deep lineup when you've got somebody like Brown with good power hitting in the 8 spot.
You look at this Florida lineup up and down, and you don't have one single player that's getting a start tonight that's hitting under 300, and that just speaks to the depth that this team has and how good they are across the board. That's why I think we've seen them have so much success early in the season, coming in at the top 5 spot. I mean, it says a lot, again, about what you're building, the expectation, the standard that you're upholding.
Brown grounds it to 3rd. Humphreys is there, will throw to 1st in time to retire Brown for the 2nd out here in the top of the 3rd.
The importance tonight, too, is making the routine plays actually routine, and Sierra Humphreys does a great job cutting that one off, gets it on the easy bounce, too, fires over to 1st. Just really good fundamental stuff from Humphreys. She's been solid all season long.
Riley Hottorf takes a ball. Of course, Hottorf was first team All Pac-12 a year ago in Washington. It was, of course, part of the Huskies team that played in the World Series in 2023. Part of that infield now for the Gators. Fouls that off, hitting .328, 2 homers, 17 RBIs. Part of that new left part of the infield there with Hottorf and Cahalan. See, Tim Walt was inducted into the Hall of Fame, the NFCA Hall of Fame, this past December in Dallas. Well-deserved honor. Won his 1,000th game as Gator head coach earlier this year. 1-1. The strike, it's 1-2. Two-time national champion, 12 College World Series appearances for Tim Walton. His Gator team, 30-4 on the year. 1-2. Popped up foul. You got to face him many a times, and he even coached in the pros briefly there as well.
Coach Walton is one of the smartest minds, I think. We become so fortunate as athletes to be surrounded by great people throughout our careers, and he's definitely one of them. What he's been able to do and create at Florida, the success that he's had, again, I think more than anything just shows how great of a coach he is. Very fortunate to keep learning from minds like his.
As a person that's helped a lot of coaches in the sport, there have been a lot of coaches over the years that have told me, you know, Coach Walton put in a good word for me, help me out, and get opportunities.
It says a lot when you have somebody that's so successful also vouching for you. I mean, how do you ignore it? Because clearly they're doing the right things within the sport, and you just got to be able to sometimes listen to what they have to offer.
Payoff pitch. Line foul. Of course, Coach Ball Malone being one of them. Tim Walton spoke on her behalf when she was up for the Boise State job and when she was up for the UCF job. Just one of many examples. Both of these coaches, of course, coaching together in the U.S. national team. Their families are close. 3 balls, 2 strikes to count. High ball 4 and a walk as Hottorf gets on. Second Gator to reach base, this time via the walk. So now Falby will come up there. It was out on her one pitch in the first inning. Swung on the first pitch and grounded out. She hits here with 1 on, 2 out. Falby takes a strike. Gold Glove Award winner last year. Making still highlight plays. Maybe arguably the best center fielder in the sport right now. The 0-1. Hits it off Vega's glove, and that will be likely a hit by Falby. Vintage Kendra Falby putting the ball in play with career hit number 297.
And Falby just hitting the ball hard up the middle, hitting it right back where it came from, but Vega just unable to not try to reach that glove out so hard sometimes to help ourselves when it feels like it's right to us. I think, though, if she hadn't touched it, Aubrey Evans was right up the middle. Good piece of hitting, but this is what makes Florida so good, is their ability to put the pressure on the defense, put balls in play firm, and try to work from there. Having base runners on definitely helps when you've got some great bats in the top part of your order.
It's officially a hit for Falby. Puts her at 297. 3 hits away from becoming the 3rd Gator ever to reach 300 hits. Kelsey Stewart at 357 and the great Amanda Lorenz at 301. And now 2-0 the count to Corby Otis, who was a first-team All-American last year, top 10 USA softball finalist for Player of the Year last year. So he's ahead of the count 2-0 here against Vega. That is missed, 3-0. Shoemaker on deck. Three balls and no strikes. That's a strike, and it's 3-1. Of course, for Vega, you're always, as a pitcher, you're always on instincts, right? You don't know where that ball's going. Your instincts just put the glove up.
Absolutely, and that's why, too, I've seen a lot of PFP throughout my time, and you definitely try to control those things or practice not reaching out, but easier said than done.
Vega there with a pitch there to get it to 3-2.
Nice little changeup action, too, from Vega on that. We talked earlier just about the importance of her mixing speeds. Changeup is starting to come around, finding the strike zone well.
Payoff pitch. Otis pops it up. Damon in foul territory makes the catch to retire the side. Vega gets through it. First Gator threat of the ball game. They strand 2. Knights up 2. We'll hear from Coach Walton coming up.